No, say, can you see? Man, that was the most brutal national anthem. Second behind Fergie. Third, maybe Carl Lewis that I've heard from Shaka Khan on Sunday that I've ever heard in my life at the NBA All-Star Game.
Yeah. I'm not sure who that is.
Shaka Khan. She is a African-American legend. Some would say a queen. Jamie, would you say a queen for Shaka Khan? Yep. Yes. Oh, it's Whitney Houston's aunt. No shit. You don't say.
Who gives a shit?
She was a big deal in the 80s.
Well,
she had a lot of hit songs.
It's not the 80s anymore, bitch.
Well, she's a Chicagoan. Am I saying that? Am I saying that correctly? Chicagoan. The Chicago pizza person. And that was a lot. I think for me personally, it was more or less the fact that Jennifer Hudson came on before her and sang the Kobe Bryant tribute song.
Jennifer Hudson, she's the one that murdered her whole family or some shit?
No, her whole family was murdered.
But she didn't do it.
Correct.
There's no suspicion.
It was her brother.
Her brother is the one that did it?
Brother,
God, that's fucked up. I knew there was something weird about that family.
It was, man. And
I mean, not that the family's weird. That's fucked up, but...
Yeah. So when she went up there to sing for Kobe, that was one of the greatest live performances by any vocalist I've ever seen.
Yeah, but why do you man, maybe they need Jay-Z running their shit too, because how do you put Shaka Khan as the headliner behind Jennifer Hudson, who has got pipes like a motherfucker?
Great question.
That's like having Alicia Keys and then having fucking Fergie come on after or some shit. You know what I mean?
So what they do is, based on the city, now they're trying to tailor it around who is what for that city, right? Shaka Khan is a fucking icon, so they had her do the national anthem only. They never do a full performance, just the national anthem. She made it a full performance. The other thing that was weird to me is this. Chance the Rapper did the halftime show. I like Chance the Rapper. I didn't like his new album that much, but the first one was a fucking banger.
He's a weird guy.
Weird guy, but he gives a lot of his money back to the Chicago school system, the public schools.
He's a nice guy. He's
great guy. Great guy. He sang Ultralight Beam, which is obviously infamous for having Kanye on it.
Mm-hmm.
Kanye did not perform that song with him. However, Kanye was sitting 10 rows from the stage. I don't know what happened. Rachel Nichols posted a photo backstage of all the microphones that were in a box getting ready to perform.
Mm-hmm.
One of them said Kanye on it. I don't know what went down or what was said, but that's one of Chicago's favorite sons, obviously. So the whole theme was Chicago, and they went with Shaka Khan for the opener, which was not a good one. They should have probably proofed that, maybe workshopped it a little bit. But that was... You want to talk about somebody making a meal with a fucking national anthem. If you would have put the over-under on that, it probably would have been 5:08, 5 minutes and 8 seconds. I've never seen anything take that long. Even some of the players were side-eyeing each other of like, oh, okay. Yep. Nope, that's Shaka Khan. Can we pick it up? Pick up the pace?
Her real name is Yvette Stevens, by the way.
Goddamn right it is.
So I don't know where that dumb name came from.
I believe it's tribal, Dan.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. We celebrate Kwanzaa around my house. And I don't want to get too deep
up.
into it, but I celebrate all the races and ethnicities at my house.
I celebrate none of them.
I do, but that's just me. That's just me. I want to give it a personal apology, a public apology. It's personal because it's coming from me, but a public apology to Adam Silver. I got it wrong. I said that All-Star game was going to be fucking dookie in a wet bag. In a wet brown lunch bag, and I thought the format was dumb. I didn't think capping it at a score was going to do anything. I didn't think anybody was going to care about that shit. And then, sure enough, that was the best second half, fourth quarter I've ever seen of an NBA All-Star game.
Yeah, it's the first time we've seen a sudden death type of situation in a game with that much star power since like the 2016-17 NBA championship, where
it was awesome.
It came down to the game 7 with Kyrie Irving hitting that 3 to finally give Cleveland the win there. It just went back and forth the whole time.
I was screaming at my TV, man. Like I all in.
There
and
was a
like
good-
unknowingly, you know?
There, I believe there were combined about 5 or 6 possessions at the end of the game that any one of them could have ended the game.
Yeah.
Which is pretty interesting. We've never seen, like in basketball, you don't see that typically.
No, and it felt like a game you're playing in the backyard. And the reason why I say unknowingly is my wife had come out and she was just like, dude, what the fuck are you yelling at? Like, sports season is over. That's what she calls it, sports season. And I was like, yes, I would typically say yes, but this is fucking awesome. This is the best basketball I've seen in a long time. I haven't seen LeBron care ever, like since he was playing the Warriors in the championship 2 years ago.
Yeah.
3 years ago. It was fucking awesome to see. And then, dude, even more shocking was how great the slam dunk contest was and the 3-point shootout was on Saturday night. All of them cared. The fucking dunk contest was incredible, dude.
Yeah, I feel bad for
Aaron Gordon.
Aaron Gordon.
He got robbed.
This is the second time. Like, what do you got to do to win if you're him?
He had 5 50s in a row. And homeboy, by the way, the guy who won just signed a Puma deal this morning. I don't know how much money he got. Good for him. He was like I think a D-League player who got bumped up. So good for him. Aaron Gordon's Aaron Gordon. He's, got a gajillion dollars and he's fine. So try not to be too pissed off about it, Aaron Gordon, but just know everybody knows you won. The weird thing is the very first dunk contest that I remember as a kid was Dominique against Jordan, and it was in Chicago, the same place. That's the very first one I remember as a child. And same thing, man. I remember watching that, and granted, I'm from Atlanta. I'm a diehard Hawks fan. I thought Neek got fucked in that. I still do to this day. But Gordon got
the dunk
fucked in this
from
one.
the free throw line, I don't think is all that impressive.
It was when Dr. J did it.
The first time, yeah, but when Jordan copied it to win,
I agree.
Like, I get it. He's got a lot of hang time, but that's not a skill. That is what it is.
Yeah.
Like if there's who is that guy? Fuck.
The other guy, the guy who won, he did a windmill from virtually the free throw line, and that was
he was
impressive.
one step in. That was more impressive than what Jordan did for sure.
I agree. But yeah, I think Neek won that one. I think Aaron Gordon won the other one. Either way, man, they were both really fun to watch.
Yeah, and the way they handled the judging was weird to me.
Don't put a fucking actor up there. I can tell you that.
No.
Don't put a fucking actor up. By the way, Chadwick Boseman, every time he has to do Wakanda Forever,
he probably dies a little inside.
Yes. You can see pieces of his soul leaving his body.
Somebody did an article on it, like, straight out of Wakanda, and they're like, oh, God.
Yeah.
Dude, stop with that. That was years ago.
Yeah.
I guess they are going to make another movie, so he's probably going to make another
He's going to make
$40 million off of that.
He's career. Fine. And look, by the way, to anybody that bitches at home of like, these fucking actors won't do shit when they're out. Yes, if you see Chadwick Boseman in the street, make him do the fucking Wakanda Forever. You bought a goddamn ticket. That's the way I look at it. Anybody who fucking screams out, ooh, ooh, or fucking St. James, Street James, yes, dude, that's why I made that fucking shit. I knew goddamn well it was going to happen. I don't feel 1 second of bad for fucking Chadwick Boseman. Who gives a shit, bro?
Well, luckily,
you're rich as fuck.
For me, my attitude is always the same no matter what, and it's not great.
What's that?
So it's like,
if you meet Dan, you're gonna get exactly what you hope for.
Yeah. There's actually a dude, I can't remember his name, but he runs a meme page, and his thing is that if you follow him, he'll roast you in your DMs or some shit.
Really?
Yeah, I should start doing that.
That's pretty funny.
I should set up a Cameo account and just like, so people can pay me to talk shit directly to them.
There is people that do that, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Because most of the comments that I get on videos and in reviews and on social media in general is like, if I make a comment, they're like, I feel like at the end of that, there's an implied fuck face or get fucked at the end of that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, that's correct.
I agree. But yeah, with Chadwick Boseman, hey man, that's your Black Panther. It's rad. Get over it. He did look like he didn't want to be there. And then,
I mean, it is what it is.
And then Candace Parker, look, no WNBA players dunk on a regular basis.
Yeah, how would she, what's she judging?
Don't know. Her cousin dunking, like I don't know what she's judging in that one. It's fucking strange. It's
kind of funny, but yeah, they should
get her out of there. Former players only.
That's one of the more exciting events that happens over the weekend. You can't afford to fuck that one up.
No, 3-point shootout is exactly what it should be. God damn it,
it's always
man.
the same.
Our boy lost.
It's always exciting.
Ice Tray lost, dude. I was shocked by that.
I think
Buddy Hield won on that last second shot, and it was great.
Out of that whole field, Hield is the one I would have picked, just because it's basically a toss-up, because we've seen Steph Curry lose, we've seen Klay Thompson lose in different years, and they're the two best shooters that have ever existed.
Yes.
It's all about who can get the most hot in any individual situation. That's a weighted average for me. So I would bet on Klay Thompson because he gets hotter than Steph Curry. Like if it was one versus those two, I would bet on Klay.
The reason why my money was on Trae Young was with the ability to shoot anywhere on the court, even half court, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he nailed a half court shot during the game, which was, motherfucker, why didn't you do that the night before?
Yeah.
I guess it's my guess that he's a guy who puts up 1,000 shots a day from all over everywhere. So I would figure he's just used to that, of like constantly shooting threes like that all day long and night. So it was surprising to see him have such a shitty result. I mean,
well, he's also a volume shooter, and he's used to shooting with a hand in his face. I bet if you put him and I don't know, like a guy who's got very good repeatable technical skills like Devin Booker, if you put them both on the wing from 3-point and gave him 100 shots, I bet Devin Booker would wreck Trae every single time. I bet he would.
Maybe. Yeah.
Dr. Frank is calling me. He's trying to give me some drugs, some steroids. No, it's all things being equal, I would like to see a 3-point competition with guys who are the most capable of getting the hottest at any given time. So like Devin Booker, who won it a couple years ago, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry is obviously one of them as well. People like that, that's who I want to see. I don't think Trae's that guy. I think he's a great shooter with a hand in his face, but he's like Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. Like if you don't guard him, if you leave him, people used to leave him wide open in the corner when they were running a triangle offense there in Denver, and he would fucking brick it every single time. But if he's 30 feet out with a hand in his face, he hits a shot. I don't know what it is about those guys.
Yeah.
But for a 3-point competition, it's just you. It's you wide the fuck open, and there's no reason you shouldn't make 80% of those shots. Like a great NBA player, a great shooter in the NBA should make 80% of their open free throws or open 3-pointers.
Right.
And that's a lot of pressure. Expectation is a lot of pressure. Klay Thompson doesn't give a shit. I don't even know what happens in his brain. I think he just hears circus music. You know, like in old cartoons where they're like, do. Like he's got a theme song of his life in his head, because all he does is hang out with his dog and his girlfriend and shoot hoops. That's it.
That's all he should be doing.
He doesn't fucking like go party, or he doesn't fucking get like, what movies do you watch? Hang out with my dog. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude? But he's got like a very kinesthetic mind. So somebody like that that's why he's capable of getting so hot, I think. Like no one's ever been as hot as Klay Thompson has in one quarter. He scored 37 points in a fucking quarter.
Yep.
Devin Booker scored like 25 points in a quarter before too. That's why I like guys like that in those competitions, because they get in the zone, whatever that means. Like I would have liked to have seen Michael Jordan in a 3-point competition.
He was.
Yeah.
He was in one, and he didn't win.
No, he didn't win. I think he got 16 in the last round and got bounced, or the second or the semifinal round.
Yeah.
It was okay. But I would just like to see him on a regular basis in it, because somebody like that, at some point, they're going to go fucking 30 for 30.
Oh, yeah,
They're going to
yeah,
score
yeah.
like it's Jordan. He looks at Mutombo, goes, hey, Mutombo, watch this. Closes his eyes and hits a free throw.
Yeah.
Like in the middle of a goddamn regular season game. You know what
But
I mean?
he's in it, and he's in the game. Yeah, I don't know. Something's different about it. Even the skills challenge, man. The skills challenge was fun. They were trying. Overall, it was a gigantic win for the NBA this season.
Yeah, I mean every element of it went well. I didn't like the way that the dunk competition was judged. I thought it should have went the other way, but either way, it was still exciting.
It was fun to watch, and you can't pin that on some shitty judges. I mean, you can pin the loss on them, but
yeah.
As far as how exciting the contest was, like people remember it forever, and it is what it is. Whereas NASCAR to me took a big loss this weekend, and I had said this on last week's show, and some bunch of people, as soon as it started, were like, "Man, you're gonna have to be forced to talk about NASCAR this week and fuck you eat your words, and then it gets rained out. So we'll start with Saturday night first and foremost, because we knew this was going to happen. However, we didn't know this driver was going to win. And what we're talking about is Black Rifle Coffee sponsoring a car with
Bass Pro.
And the driver was Noah Gregson. And we knew they were going. We knew they were in it. Here's what I told Matt.
He's a good driver, and
he's great.
It's not a shock that they won or anything. Like, Bass Pro doesn't fuck around. They spend a lot of money on that team.
It's not that. And this is what I told Matt. I go, look, man, there is so many variables, and like you could crash and everything else. I was like, the fact that you guys are sponsoring a car that fucking won, and then you end up on television afterwards, because it was him and Evan. I don't know if you saw the live feed.
No, it was. I saw all of it, and I didn't see it live, but I saw the replays. And the thing about being first is you get the most camera time.
Yes.
And also the thing about first is a lot of the camera time is the dash cam from the number 2 car. Mm-hmm. And the back bumper of that car said Black Rifle Coffee. So Fox Sports all weekend had Black Rifle Coffee all over it. So
it was the best spend ever. And I will say this. That was the boys, you're incredibly lucky. I don't know how much. I don't know if they're doing that every race or what the final verdict's going to be out of that. But I told Matt, I go, man, dude, nobody fucking wins. Because I've had tons of friends. I would say like 10 to 12 friends with companies and shit like that get in on some form of race, and then the driver gets bashed in.
I mean, it's
23 and
it's like
out.
Gambling. It's like going to fucking It's like go bet on horse racing and you win the first time. I should do this every time. Well,
it's gambling with thousands and thousands of dollars. However, it paid off, and it was awesome to see. Now, I don't know what the ratings were for Saturday's race. It was awesome to see because it was our friends, our best friends, obviously, and you know, their company and all that stuff, and it was a blast. But I saw it everywhere on social media because obviously we do the show and blah blah blah, right? But then we get into Sunday, right? So I'm like, all right, I felt good going into Sunday. Trump was there. We knew Trump was there. We knew he was going to come out. Seeing the Air Force One fly over the track was awesome. Seeing him get in the Beast and do the lap around the stadium, like, it was hard dicks everywhere. It was full. That was a full boner's worth of America right there. And I was amped for the race to start. I haven't been amped for a Daytona 500 to start since Dale Jr. was in it, probably. You know, and even then, I think it was last year. Like, I was amped, and it was just like, and then he was out. I would say it's been a good 4 or 5 years for me personally, right? And then you get rained out. Gone. Wiped out. No race. You stop, start. I think they finished about 20 laps on Sunday. They had 2 rain delays, and then they finally called it late into the evening, and they said, hey guys, this is going to be on Monday. We work. Most of America works. And boom. I miss half the race. I usually get home around, 6:30, 7, hang out with the kids a little bit, had the race on, then you have the worst fucking crash that I've personally seen. I mean, look, Dale died on that turn into the wall, and it didn't look bad. Last night's, I thought he was fucking dead.
Yeah, it was a pretty rough one. I mean, it's all the reports that I'm reading now say that it's not life-threatening, but that doesn't necessarily mean it doesn't suck. I mean, you could lose a fucking leg and still live, obviously. So I don't know how bad this is.
It's Ryan Newman. He's in serious condition right now. He had another. I mean, look, if you saw it, somebody put the side by side of it today of Talladega Nights with Will Ferrell when he crashed to the thing, because he finished 4th, including that crash, which is even crazier. But it looked like a side by side of that where it didn't even look real, and I did not think that there was any way he was surviving this whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, those cars are pretty well put together. Although I did say the first report I saw suggested that they the roll cage part had been caved in, but I don't know. Oh, really? Yeah, I don't know like how badly or on which side or whatever the fuck. I didn't really.
Well, look, he went into the wall, and then another car hit him going 150 right on his, right on the driver's side door. to me, that looked about as bad as it could possibly get. I don't know what his injuries are really like or what's going to happen. And it's like you said, you could lose a leg, and it's non-life threatening, but you could lose your legs, arms. Like, we have no fucking idea right now.
Yeah.
And to me, oh man, NASCAR, to make a comeback, you had all the elements on Sunday. It got blown. You had a 32% rise in viewership because of Trump. They called it the Trump bump yesterday or on Sunday. And then that kind of goes out the window because your race gets postponed. And then at the end of it, the very last lap, right up to the finish line, and you had a photo finish, which was exciting as shit. You have one of the worst crashes I've ever seen. And then even the driver, it was Denny Hamlin who won for the second year in a row. Even he was just like, look, man, the trophy and the history of this is amazing, and I'm sure I will party about it and celebrate. But right now, I'm thinking about the driver. I saw them covering up the screens inside the stadium, trying to block the screens because they didn't want the crash showed to too many people. And it was like, man, NASCAR can't catch a break right now.
No, and they're not going to do themselves any. I mean, a typical NASCAR broadcast is about the most boring thing that I've ever seen in my life, to be honest. Like, even if you're a race fan, no one sits there and watches 500 miles of driving.
They used to. They used to mic. I don't know if they still, they mic up the drivers. They still do it, but I wish.
It's part of it, but it's too. Sports has become, whether you want to fucking admit it or whether you like it or not, has become reality television. And if you don't have things that are embedded, like 30 for 30 that ESPN does really well, or player profiles or whatever it is that extends throughout the broadcast and piggyback on the broadcast. So not only are people watching that show, I'm going to go find out more about this driver now, and I'm going to go watch the second show, and that's a whole other round of advertising that they get to do around that. It makes the sport bigger because it's telling human stories, but it also makes you more revenue. It makes sense to me. NASCAR fails every single time to take advantage of any of this shit. If their marketing team knew what they were doing right now, they would be doing a series where they talk to all the other drivers in the league. Because this guy was, let's see, how old is he? 43?
Yeah, somewhere in there. He looks
They would be doing interviews with all the other drivers about how they know him, like doing a fucking profile on his upbringing and background and how he got into racing and all that shit. And then they would be getting ready to do a comeback story for him. Like, it's not. It seems opportunistic, but that is your job. Like, it's something.
Sports.
It's something that people want to watch, and they want to know more about Ryan Newman. They want to know more about this guy that fucking they saw get in this horrible wreck and still coming forth, because it's a pretty incredible story. And NASCAR fails every single time to do it. It's really disappointing because they have so much. They have an audience that's captive, despite the fact that the product isn't all that great.
Yeah,
to be honest, and they just fuck it up every single time. It's really frustrating to see that.
Yeah, man, it's tough, but shit, the NBA just keeps fucking winning, and NASCAR keeps losing, and it's sad to see, man, because you can get into it, man. I mean, fuck, watching Black Rifle and those guys Saturday, like, it was fucking awesome. I'm screaming at the TV, and it's great, but it's only because we have friends that were directly connected with it. But you're right, sitting and watching guys just drive in a circle that are inches apart, like. Part of you is rooting for a crash, and then when it happens, you're not amped about it.
Yeah.
And then the other part is you're waiting for somebody to flip out, either on the headset or
something interesting outside of what's happening. Like, Tony Romo is going to make $15 million next year, just to point out small intricacies that are happening that the average fan won't pick up on. That's his only job, is to watch the game, and because of an institutional knowledge, to be like, well, here's what just happened there. It's like what John Madden used to try to do, but John Madden was retarded.
Right.
They're like, oh, boom. Guy throws the ball, he catches it. Like,
yeah.
Thanks, John. That's great. But Tony Romo actually, and Aikman to a lesser degree, does this color commentary very well. NASCAR doesn't. They suck at it. There's so many interesting characters in the racing community, like what's his name? Bubba Wallace. Yeah. The guy that drives Richard Petty's car now.
Yeah.
He's a funny dude. He's like 25-year-old black kid that drives NASCAR. That's kind of weird. So there's a lot of different people like him, storylines that they don't fucking care, man. It is what it is. It's like, well, this is how it's always been, man. This is NASCAR. Like, no, it's not.
It's not. You can change. You can change with the times.
You have to change or you're going to fucking die.
Yeah, I mean, even professional bowling. I told you they've switched it up, man. They're miking up the players, talking to them after every shot, like trying to make it exciting.
I mean, that's what the XFL is doing too.
Oh yeah,
like they're talking to the players. That whole situation this past week with that quarterback and coach, where they interviewed them both separately at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, our play calling sucks, and the coach is like, oh yeah,
fuck you, you're benched. Yeah,
that shit's really funny to me.
By the way, speaking of which, we were talking about marketing wise. You're right. By the way, I did a bowling movie maybe 10 years ago. And the PBA was like, man, we've got to change our image. What's the script like? What's the thing? And I was like, look, it's crass. It's fucking rude, out of control. There's topless women in it or whatever. And they were like, great. And then literally his response was, we will do anything to bring eyeballs into this sport. We'll give you anything you need, help you out with anything. And I mean, they were down. That no other sport is like that, and they should be. They should be open to this type of crazy marketing and all this other shit, but they're not, man. And I don't know why NASCAR isn't, to be honest.
I don't know. Maybe they should just hire Dana White to run NASCAR.
It'd be great
because he knows how to fucking or Vince McMahon, somebody that knows how to fucking cultivate a storyline.
Or put him on a 5-second delay and let them curse.
Yeah.
Hey, you motherfucker, cut me off. Like, I mean, then it would be rad. Shit, maybe that's something, but it's probably too family friendly. They won't do it. Let's get to the sponsors, shall we? MyBookie.com. Promo code Drinkin Bros. Doubles your deposit. We're getting geared up. We're getting tuned up. March Madness is around the corner. That's when Daddy likes to get his beak wet again. I typically sit out a couple weeks here. Lick my wounds, if you will. Luckily, I picked the Chiefs this year, but I lost a shitload on Clemson. I'm trying to win it all back. I typically cash out after March Madness. And then I'll come back in. I'll dip a toe back in for the NBA Finals. So I'm getting my dick hard for this. We're 12 days away from the most wonderful time of the year. Because even the conference championships are fun. And they're going to be even funner this year because you have no idea who's going to win. And I have a feeling there's going to be some of those shitty teams that sneak in with these conference championships, and it's going to fuck everything up. So I'm looking forward to it. Go to MyBookie, promo code Drinkin Bros. Double your deposit. Get in on it. You're welcome to bet XFL. We do not on this show. And I don't know enough about it to give you a real fucking captain's chance here. Cardell Jones is 2-0. People are making a big deal out of that.
Yeah.
I will remind you that it is the XFL.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Baylor's 23-1, but they're not going to win a national title.
I don't think so either. And I'm already developing my picks. I got them in my stew. I got some outsiders. But I think I know I said this before, but I'm going heavy on the Big Ten Conference this year. That is the fucking brutal, man. Penn State, it's like 13, dude.
I think Penn State's at 9 now, actually.
Are they really?
Yeah.
Shit.
Penn State's got a good shot. It depends on what happens in that conference championship, though.
Do they keep tearing each other down? Look, we talked about this a little bit last week, but Ohio State was number 2 in the country. Once they started a Big Ten schedule, it lost like fucking 5 out of 7. They're back into the top 25. Michigan, same way. Penn State is in there. They're playing Illinois tonight, man. It is fucking tough. Maryland, dude. Maryland's number 7 in the country. Purdue and Wisconsin, just people banging each other.
4 and 5 is San Diego State and Dayton.
Whew. The Dayton Flyers, my man.
Yeah, I don't think that one's going to last.
Dayton will usually get a nice little Sweet 16 run. Who's the other team? San Diego State? I don't see that happening.
They were good in football 2 years ago.
They were good when they had LaDainian Tomlinson, too.
Well, that was 80 years ago.
Sure was. And that's the last time I cared about that school. Next up, we got ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros. Oh, what up, Ghostbed? I see you with your 25% off everything in the store sale. You crazy motherfuckers. How are you making money there? How are you making money, dude, when you give 25% off everything? Sheets, pillows, mattresses, adjustable bases. What are you doing, Ghost Bed? 25% off? It's fucking chaos, dude. That's going all the way through February. I think it's going to March 3rd, actually, because it's a short month of February. This is the leap year, though.
Yeah, so it's only 1 day short.
Woo-hoo-hoo, the leap year. As always, dude, I wouldn't do this if I were them. Again, how are they fucking making money? I wouldn't do this if I were them, but they are doing it. 36-month pay-as-you-go program, no interest. That is applicable with the 25% off deal. How is that possible? Go there. Look, it's the best sheets, pillows, mattresses on the planet. God damn it. I almost wish I was moving so I could buy more of these things right now.
Well, you can just, ruin the ones you have. And
yeah, buy new ones. Take a nice hoity deuce on, they got a cover, dude. The cover blocks out the deuces. We had to get a cover because of the kids. If you got a kids, by the way, get the fucking cover. Next up, we've got KillcliffCBD.com. Best in the biz, man. We had a couple guests. Every guest that comes in is always like, yo, man, can I take a can of that? I was like, yeah, faux show. How do we get that in the stores? It's not in the stores right now. You got to order it online. KillcliffCBD.com. Promo code Drinkin Bros gets you 20% off a case, knocks it down like $3.80 a can, and you get free shipping. I think the total, because I buy one of these every goddamn month, is like $50, somewhere in there, like $58. And it's 25 milligrams of CBD in each can. You will not test hot. You will not piss hot for any THC. Nothing. Kill Cliff is a brand you can trust. Don't go down to your fucking corner store and start buying CBD shit. And if you're worried about carbs and sugars, there isn't any. It's like 15 calories in this shit. It's the best tasting. It's CBD. I drink it every single night. Cannot say enough nice things about KillcliffCBD.com. Promo code Drinkin Bros, 20% off a case, free shipping. Man, best in the biz. That grape is my fucking jam. Breaking news: Drew Brees is going to make another run at it with the Saints. Good idea.
As long as his hand is healthy, yeah, I think he's still got a bit.
I do too.
And he's surrounded by so much talent there. Like the amount of time it would take to bring in a new guy at his level would be too long. The talent would expire there. They'll be in different places by then, so they may as well ride it out probably 2 more years, I would say.
I agree with that. Look, I think just quarterbacks can last longer than ever. And
they can, but the replacement value, like you could probably go find somebody that's in their early to mid 20s that's going to be able to perform at the same level Brees can now in his early 40s. Mm-hmm. But the time it would take for them to get to know all the players in the playbook would expunge half of that, productivity off. Yeah. Like it would be a year and a half really before they knew everything and could operate at a high level like that. So Brees is he's an above replacement level player at this point. So you may as well hang on to him. It doesn't make any sense to move on at this point.
Yeah, and look, I've been high on Taysom Hill. I've never been shy about my love for him. I thought he should have started over Teddy Bridgewater. I understand Teddy Bridgewater went 5-0, and Brees' replacement. I don't know how. I've never believed in Teddy Bridgewater. Anybody who listens to this show knows that for sure, especially Saints fans. Christ, I heard that for 5 weeks in a row. And Teddy Bridgewater, motherfucker was throwing for like 180 yards, dude. Mm-hmm. I love the fact that they're probably going to let Teddy go and leave Taysom Hill in there. And if you're going to learn behind the best, it might as well be Drew Brees. And it's fun, man. It's fun to watch. I like Taysom Hill. That motherfucker, he plays special teams, tight end. He throws it occasionally. Lines up in the Wildcat. I love that guy. It's
he's
fun
like,
watching him play.
What was that dude's name from Pittsburgh / fuck was his name?
Oh, Antoine L. Was it Rantoine Andel?
No.
Nope.
Cordell Stewart.
That's it.
He had a weird head. Boxy.
Yeah. Either or. Look, man, if Taysom Hill is your backup, I think this solves the other problem too of like usually the guy behind the guy wants to fucking play and is pissed off. Yeah. And I don't think you're going to have that here because Taysom Hill plays all game, just a million different positions, and he gets to learn from Drew Brees. It's a win-win in this sitch to me, and I think that the Saints have enough talent. I think they should have gone to the Super Bowl this year, for Christ's
Maybe.
sakes.
I don't think Hill is their quarterback of the future, though. He's 27 years old. He'll be 29 before he ever gets a start. Like, because he's the starter in that
Maybe,
place.
and that's the only thing that I would worry about. But, again, with these guys playing so much older now because you can't hit the quarterback anymore, like I think Tom Brady's going to be fine for the 49ers this year.
He's not going to go to the 49ers.
But yeah, Breeze, I'm with you. I think Breeze is good for 2 more years. I think the Saints, man, still have the window is open for them to win the Super Bowl. It's still there. I think the Chiefs are going to be back in it obviously every year with Mahomes. But as far as the NFC goes, yeah, why not? Breeze can make another run or two.
Maybe. I mean, if to be frank, if Tom Brady goes to San Francisco, then Drew Brees has no shot at winning next year. Because
I agree
with
that defense.
With that defense plus Brady and Kittle, that's it, man.
That's a wrap.
Like
It'll be fun to watch.
He doesn't even really have to perform that much. I mean, Brady's essentially got to go put up about 23 points a game.
Game management. That's all he has to do.
So at that point, if you give Brady that kind of leeway, he can milk the whole game and just score when he wants to, basically.
Yeah.
Which is something that a lot of people haven't been able to do. I mean, if that were a common skill, the Chiefs would have just won their second consecutive Super Bowl, because if Mahomes in his youth and 23 years old last year would have known how to manage a game properly, they would have won the AFC Championship. But they didn't know how to do it.
Yeah.
Andy Reid is he just likes to hurl the ball downfield, so no patience. And then, Brady came back and got him doing what he does.
Oh.
But for Breeze, I don't think they have enough. They have enough offensive talent, but there's no way they can fucking beat the 49ers in a heads-up game like that with Brady as quarterback. There's no way.
I think so. We'll see what happens. A lot of people aren't saying it isn't going to happen at all. I just think it makes the most sense.
Speaking of quarterbacks, I keep seeing these different mock drafts, and in almost every one of them, Tua is going to the Lions at number 3,
which is the craziest thing in the world to me.
Like, Matt Stafford is 31. He's got another 10 years probably.
So he had a broken back last year.
Who cares?
That's what I said. I don't give a shit. And I don't know if this is a ploy or not to get somebody to trade up with them.
Could be.
Because here's the deal. Tua isn't playing next year. His hip is not going to fucking be there.
I don't know that he is ever a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Maybe
why
not.
would he be? He's small. He's left-handed, and he's doesn't have a lot of arm strength. So what? Like, I don't get it. Is he going to throw over the average 6'2.5" tall defensive lineman in the NFL? Probably not.
I'm not on team Tua. I don't believe in Tua in the NFL, and I'm with you. If you're the Lions, it's a shitty move. Like, look, Matthew Stafford is fucking awesome.
Yeah, that would be real dumb of them.
The problem is Detroit has just been shitty for years. Like it's not Matthew Stafford's fault.
If they just want to sell tickets, that's one thing. Or I don't know what their plan is, but Tua and the NFL is going to be running for his life. It's going to be David Carr all over again.
Yeah.
If those of you that don't remember Derek Carr's older brother, the one that got smashed into tiny pieces with the Houston Texans the first couple of years.
Over and over.
I think he went back-to-back years getting sacked 60 times or some shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that was pretty much the end of his career. Tua's already having knee, ankle, and hip problems.
Yeah.
And he's fucking 21, 22 years old. There's no goddamn way that he's going to make it in the NFL. Why waste a draft pick on him? That's like drafting Baker Mayfield first, or that fucking dummy in Arizona like Kyler Murray. Like,
Kyler Murray, yeah.
Give me a break, man. Draft the best player that's available.
The only thing that would make sense to me in this is because look, we all know the Miami Dolphins want him at 5, right? They want 2 at 5. Is to make them trade up for the 3rd, knowing that they could probably
does Miami have? I mean, they've got a lot of picks for the next couple of years. But.
Yeah. So get a bunch of picks, trade down to the 5, because who they really should be taking, and again, this is another thing that doesn't make sense to me. So 2 days ago, they just said they were going to trade Darius Slay, their cornerback, one of the best in the business. And to me, at 3, you should have drafted Jeffrey Okudah. He might still be there at 5. So maybe that is the ploy in the long game, but we'll find out. It's Detroit, so I have no fucking idea. at this point. But that's the only thing that would make sense to me. If you're going to trade Slay and then trade down and try to get some picks and get some more people. But, I mean, dude, if you look at the Lions offense, they have Kenny Golladay. They just got that. They got Hawkinson, the tight end. I still believe in Kerryon Johnson as a running back. You have Matthew Stafford at quarterback. Get a fucking offensive line for him. They've got 2 other dope receivers there, young guys.
Marvin Jones.
Yes, Marvin Jones Jr. What are we doing, dude? What are we doing with this stupid shit? I think you have a pretty decent team, man. And I like Patricia as coach. I don't think he's that bad. They just need a fucking offensive line for Stafford. So with the Tua shit, like, unless they know something we don't know, and Stafford is retiring or is permanently broken, I don't know why do this move. Hopefully it's to throw the Dolphins off. I'm sure Craig Dulesky is watching now on YouTube, I'm sure, and throwing shit at the screen. But, hey, man, that's the only thing that makes sense.
Well, they lost their last 9 consecutive games.
Yeah.
That's not a good look.
No, it's not. But it was when Homeboy broke his back, and then the backup quarterback got hurt too. So they were down to – they drafted they started somebody off of a practice squad. Blau. Remember that? Blough. It was right around Thanksgiving that guy started, and holy shit, that's when things got ugly.
Yep.
Speaking of ugly, this is one of the biggest things that we have to stop in Drinkin Bros Sports on Facebook, which if you're not a member, join. It's free. It's private. You can talk shit. And my rule is don't be a fucking cunt. Is the Astro stories. They're constant. Everybody's posting about the Astros.
Well, it's not just people in the group. I mean, now that pitchers and catchers are reported and position players are starting to slowly trickle in, everybody's getting a microphone shoved in their face. And
everyone. What are your thoughts on this? Did you see Nick Markakis today?
JD Martinez is the only guy I've heard say anything positive. He's like, I think it's all a bit much. People just need to calm down. Well, yeah, you're on the Red Sox guy, so
yeah, exactly.
Of course, you want people to calm down. Yeah, Markakis said everybody needed a beating.
That was his exact words. Needs a fucking beating.
Yeah,
and that they're messing with a lot of people's careers, and I agree.
Well, Mike Trout was the first person to make that point that there were guys who got demoted because of their performance against the Astros.
Yeah.
And like their Major League Baseball careers are either over or
check
whatever.
Yu Darvish's mindset these days.
Yeah, no shit. So it's like, I get it. I mean, Mike Trout has been he's been accused falsely by fucking what is that guy's, like a former Astros third baseman's dad or some shit like that. Some kid that's never played baseball a day in his fucking life.
Yeah.
That doesn't even work for Major League Baseball's front office. Was like, oh yeah, I heard my dad say that Mike Trout got a fucking special.
We reported this on the show. Yeah.
And it all turned out to be bullshit. Like they have to those records go through USADA and all that shit, and there would be a record of him getting a special dispensation. I don't know why people think they can just say stuff and just hope that nobody checks that it's true or not. But anyways, he's been the victim of that shit. And anybody that does too well is always, it's a little suspect.
Yeah.
Because you don't know if it's the next Mickey Mantle or if it's like some asshole like Ryan Braun taking steroids the whole time.
Right.
Although Mickey Mantle was on amphetamines the entire time he was playing in his career, and he took performance-enhancing drugs as well. So I don't know why everybody's so butthurt about it.
There was a guy in Drinkin Bros Sports that I'm gonna find. I'm digging through it now.
And Bellinger fucking lit everybody up too.
It was great.
His was scorched earth. I don't think I've heard anybody talk that much shit.
Well, Markakis said they all needed a fucking beating, which was nice. But the the beauty was Carlos Correa. With the fucking tattoo?
Oh, yeah. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard.
That's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
There's a meme. Kurt sent it to me this morning. There's a meme going around. Oh, he's from Long Island. No wonder he's such an asshole.
So Carlos Correa said...
It's an unfinished tattoo.
Hey, I know he didn't cheat. It was an unfinished tattoo, and that's why I didn't want to rip it off. And then a girl posted a picture of them on a fucking cruise. And
like a couple of months earlier.
They're all shirtless in July 29th, 2019. And there was no tattoo.
Well, that's 6 months earlier.
Yeah. And it's like, dude.
No, 4 months. I don't know.
Either way, they had already cheated for 2 years at this point. So,
yeah. And, Trout made the point, and a couple of other players. I think Justin Turner from the Dodgers is the one that made this specific point. He said that they've been cheating this whole time. You think that they got away with cheating, won a World Series, and just stopped in 2018? No. They kept doing it the whole time.
They tried last year, too.
Yeah. They just tried to find different ways to get away with it. So I get some of the other arguments, like against the Yankees can't talk shit. Yeah, they lost because Houston won, but they lost because they sucked in those series, to be honest. Like they were
that
losing.
Aroldis Chapman, that walk-off by Altuve was
That was
bullshit.
a big one. That was a big one, yeah. But the fact that the Yankees were losing at home has nothing to do with anything that's going on in Houston.
True.
They only scored 7 runs in the previous series, so it's like that's kind of on you, guy.
It's also the mental edge. Like,
yeah, but they didn't know that at the time.
No, for the Astros. Like, if you know you've got home, at home you can get pitches and all that other shit. It's kind of like taking steroids. Like, whether or not it's actually working, you just feel better about yourself or more positive, and you're like, oh, fuck it, I can do this. Things that you shouldn't be able to think you can do. I think the mindset helps with it. The fans, though, after I posted this, there's a guy, I'm going to shout him out. His name is James Christopher Davis here in Drinkin Bros Sports. So after I posted the thing about Carlos Correa, I said on here in my post, I thought the whole entire Astros team needs to be banned for a year. There was a team, what was it, Manchester City? Yep. They got banned for 2 years over in Europe.
English Premier League.
Yeah. And, it is possible. The tricky part about this now is tickets had already gone on sale. Season tickets had already gone on sale. All that other shit. That's the only negative I see about this. Other than that, have the Astros sit out for a year. I really don't have a fucking problem with it.
It seems like, from what I've been hearing, and I haven't heard this confirmed, but the disciplinary committee for Major League Baseball gave all the players immunity for their honest testimony. So there's nothing they could do at this point anyways to players. I wasn't formally aware of that, but there's literally contractually nothing that Major League Baseball can do to any of the players involved now.
No, and Robin Manfred, when he said that it was just a piece of metal, because that's what set Turner off the other day from the Dodgers, that it was just a piece of metal for the fucking World Series trophy.
Yeah, I mean, he
was like, fuck you. The way that he's handled it, the commissioners handled it, the way the entire Astros team and PR department has handled it has been fucking awful.
Say what you want about the NBA, whether you're a fan or not, but they have the best commissioners in sports, and they have for a very, very long time.
The NBA?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Hands down.
You never saw – there was one instance.
One shitty deal, in my opinion, and it was David Stern blocking that trade of Chris
Kobe.
Paul to the Lakers. Yeah.
Or Chris Paul, yeah.
To play with Kobe.
That was – I don't know. I mean, I got that because technically the league owned them at the time. I mean, I thought it was still stupid, but
the Lakers backed up the truck. I mean, they gave him a lot of fucking players, and then they were fine with the trade to
New Orleans
or
to
Houston.
Yeah,
it was just like fuck off.
Weird. I don't know.
1 year is what I say. Sit them all out. But that's what I think should have happened.
There was one instance with Mahmoud Abdul Rauf again, which is funny. He made the show twice where he was praying, like doing an Islamic prayer during the national anthem.
Yeah,
but he wasn't sitting down or kneeling or anything like that. He was just doing his thing, and that's fine. Whatever. That's as far as it ever got in the NBA. And as soon as Stern and then after him Silver found out that the players wanted to get involved in activism and about their communities and shit like that, he made a pathway to do that respectfully.
Yeah,
immediately. That was the very first thing he did. Major League Baseball hasn't really had those issues that much. But the NFL fucked it up as bad as you could possibly fuck it up, and you're still seeing repercussions for it now. Like if somebody, honestly, I feel bad for Kaepernick sometimes, and like at this point he's just like entrenched in his own ignorance. But when it first started off, he got some bad advice from some people about how to handle this whole situation, and he was young and stupid. You know what I mean? And he was surrounded by sycophants, yes men, like, oh yeah, that's a great idea, you should do that. That are just trying to ride his coattails and his fame and popularity to get their point across. If the NFL had done something like merging vets and players 10 years ago when all this stuff first started becoming a political issue, then none of this would have ever happened. Kaepernick probably would still be playing. He would be a totally different human being than he is right now. And Goodell has completely failed the NFL and the American public, who is so,
he's a fucking clown, Goodell.
Like the American public loves football so much. The way they've handled social justice issues and the way they've handled traumatic brain injury, CT and shit like that, is the worst management of a company I've ever seen, where the guy just keeps on getting paid.
And
unbelievable.
He keeps up in his fucking salary every year. So it's just like,
and the way Bud Selig was with the steroid issue, and then the way that fucking Rob Manfred is now with this stuff, it is one of the most, and you can see it in the ticket sales.
Yeah.
Like I tell you, whose ticket sales aren't going down, and that's the NBA's. They're going higher and higher and higher, and there's a reason for that. It's because it's an on-demand or it's an in-demand product.
Yeah.
And the NFL is going to keep seeing slippages on their broadcasts. NBA is going to keep going up. Major League Baseball is going to keep slipping.
And the interesting thing to watch for is Major League Baseball's contract is up. And
their TV contract.
Yeah. And that's where all these motherfuckers are getting paid from.
Yeah.
So if you'll know the numbers as soon as they come out, and I'll be curious to see what happens. But this James Christopher Davis here, I want to give you a shout out, not in a positive way. He wrote after my Astros rant, he said, "You really jumping on the bandwagon now? How many professional teams have been caught cheating that won their prospective championship that year? And how many of them have been banned?" I thought that was a great question, right? I can't think of any, except for the Patriots maybe during Deflategate. Did they win that year?
Well, they won twice. The other time was
the
videotaping. Yeah.
So with that, and by the way, the Patriots are still on the hook for some serious videotaping, and that penalty has not come out yet. I responded and I said, yes, the Patriots as well. Like, they're not immune from this either.
Yeah.
And I like, if you're cheating, you're fucking cheating, and you're caught. Like, I'm fine with that, right? But here's the mood swings of an Astros fan. See, he goes on to say, fuck you guys, then every team needs to be fined and have the same punishment. Astros have paid their fines plus some, so we're even. And I go, hey, man, paying their fines is not really, fucking doing it enough justice here.
No, the only point of a fine is to if it hurts.
Yeah.
So I would like the idea, actually. I don't necessarily need to see them skip the whole season, but if they were just ineligible for the playoffs, why not?
Yeah, exactly. That wouldn't hurt. Nuke them out of the postseason.
They would lose maybe 5% of their annual revenue, something like that.
Yeah.
And prestige, obviously, but I think that's a fair thing to do. I think saying you're not going to the playoffs this year, no matter how well you do, it would be interesting to see what happens, because then all their contracts come into play and all that stuff.
Yeah. So he goes on to say, Ross, sign stealing to me is a part of baseball, because that's been an argument as well. Sign stealing is a part of baseball. It's up to the team to figure out how to change the signs or keep losing. And it's back and forth. They said it was stealing through a center field camera, and you're based on technology at that point.
Yeah.
And he says, well, look, you got to always use your assets. Untapped assets are useless.
That's not an untapped asset, though. That's something that is spelled out very clearly in the rule book, that you're not allowed to use technology to steal signs in real time.
Yeah.
Like that's a rule.
Then at the end of it, he just said, look, man, like, he finally had given up because people were just hammering this guy. And he just said, look, here's the shitty thing. I'm an Astros fan. Does it suck that they fucking got caught stealing signs and doing all this shit, and that they're fucking cheaters? Yes, but it didn't make me party any less, and I'm still going to celebrate the World Series. The problem with it is, if you're not an Astros fan, everyone else in America just looks at this team now and is like, what a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Like, for the next 20 years, I'll look at the Astros team and be like, remember those fucking cheaters banging on trash cans?
Which is funny, because no one, like, Gaylord Perry's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
And he cheated every day of his entire career.
He was pitching at 90 years old.
Yeah. Nolan Ryan, I guess if you put him in today's game, he would not be nearly as successful, because he would get ejected all the time for hitting people on purpose. Like, a guy would rip one off of him, and no matter what the situation was, the next time that guy came up, he was getting hit. That's just the way it was, because Nolan Ryan was Nolan Ryan, right?
Yeah.
He knew who he was. Like, there's this, if you read his autobiography, he tells a story about his he's like pitching in the state high school championships in Texas back in the late 50s, I think it was, or maybe the early 60s. I don't remember.
I think early 60s.
Probably early 60s, because he didn't go to college. At any rate, he's like, yeah, the first batter that came up, I threw the ball, hit him in the arm, and broke his arm. The next guy came up, and I hit him in the head and broke his helmet. And then every batter after that either struck out or walked.
Yeah.
because everybody was afraid to stay in the box.
Nolan Ryan was fucking awesome.
But I mean, if you played that type of game, he would get ejected all the time. So it's, Ty Cobb pulled a fucking 22 pistol on a guy, on an umpire one time.
That's great.
Babe Ruth. Like, you can say that all those guys didn't cheat, but come on, man. Of course they were cheating.
Babe Ruth fucked Sheila Joe Jackson's dad.
I don't know about that.
Don't know that.
But, I mean...
So I'm glad you brought this up, because there was one monster number here that is in the gambling world right now. 83.5 is the over-under for hit by pitch.
Never fucking gamble on something that the fucking league can shut down like that, by the way. If the league comes out and just says, hey, umpires, this is happening too much, we're going to fucking do a preemptive warning before every game. Hey, you can't throw at the Astros batters, and that kills the whole thing, and you lose your fucking money. I would bet the under for that reason, because if it gets out of control,
I'm with you.
They're going to absolutely put the kibosh on that.
I'm with you. But let me ask you this. If that's what ends up happening, right, and they come out and put the kibosh on that, and they treat the Astros with kid gloves, then everybody's going to bitch about that as well. They're in a no-win situation this year, Major League Baseball is. Unless Mike Trout gets in the World Series and has the greatest World Series of all time. Or the Yankees win, If it's Yankees Cubs or something like.
I don't think that would work at this point. It's got to be something bigger. Like the Cubs aren't big enough. I think they had there was a lot of love for the Cubs, one, before they won, and two, for people our age, because we grew up watching them on WGN.
Yeah.
Like, if you were a baseball fan and you didn't live in a big city, your options were the Braves and the Cubs, sometimes the Yankees, and then whatever was on Sundays.
Yeah, that's true.
So you're either, that's why there's so many Braves and Cubs fans out there that have no, like, causal or geographic connection to the area.
Right.
But, like, my brother is a huge Cubs fan, because that's who I grew up watching the Braves, and he grew up watching the Cubs. But anyways, I don't think that would even do it. Something crazy, like a home run chase, which isn't going to happen, because there's nobody in the league that can crush like that anymore.
No. Trout could, I guess.
Maybe Bellinger. I mean, he's still kind of figuring out who he is as a batter, and he hit 47 last year.
If he puts a little meat on those bones, he might be able to.
Well, power hitters typically get more powerful as time goes on. Like, you could expect Ronald Acuna to get in the mid to high 40s this year.
Yeah.
He's probably going to be a 40-40 guy this year if they let him run, but I wouldn't let him steal bases. Because what's the point?
Yeah.
It's like there's too great a chance for injury, and stolen bases don't weigh that highly in a fucking data-driven game of baseball. It doesn't make that big of a difference.
I was pissed that they let go of Josh Donaldson. I thought he was big for that clubhouse. I was pissed off.
For the clubhouse and his defense, yeah, but I mean, we'll see.
Great year offensively.
They still have options. They're probably going to platoon Yohan Camargo and Austin Riley at third base to start the season. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Austin Riley's supposed to be the next Chipper Jones for the Braves.
Riley, he's got some problems with high fastballs. He does. We'll see what he did in the offseason.
Yeah.
But he's got a good swing. I mean, he came up and fucking lit it up, lit the world on fire. He just kind of got exposed a little bit, and this is his sophomore year. If he comes back having learned what he was fucked up with before, because his bat speed is very good.
Yeah.
So that problem, he has wrist strength and bat speed. That's like the number 1 and 2 thing other than eyesight for a hitter. If you can make adjustments, he'll be fine. I'm more worried about their pitching staff, to be honest, and what happens there. Like Tehran's not there anymore. Not that he's lit the world up, but he's been a consistent.
He's been consistent, yeah.
3.5, 3.8 ERA guy
See
for
if
years
Kim
now.
Felix can do anything.
No, he's not gonna make. He won't even make the big league club.
Maybe. You never know.
No way.
Last but not least, before we get to your questions, because as always, we are live on YouTube. Subscribe to Drinkin Bros podcast on YouTube. All the sports shows are live. I want to ask you, because this is something I am betting on this weekend, and I'm betting heavily on it. The Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury fight. Mm-hmm. Who you got?
I don't know, man.
I am going yard on Tyson Fury, actually. Yeah.
I
let
think,
it stretch.
I don't think
I just rewatched that first fight the other night.
I think that Fury is probably, if he wins, he's probably going to retire, so that makes me want to bet on him.
He's got 3 fights left. He's under contract with ESPN for 3 more fights. So he would only have to satisfy 2 of them after this. This would give him a belt at every level that he's ever fought at, which would tie him with Muhammad Ali. Every single fucking belt. I rewatched that Wilder fight the other night, man. I think Fury is going to be a little more patient. I know he got caught with that fucking huge shot at the end, but and I think he's going to figure him out. I think he's a smart guy, and I'm going fucking yard on Tyson Fury. That's just me personally. Now, what do I want to see as a fan? I want to see Wilder knock him the fuck out, and that would be awesome. But I have a weird feeling about this. I watched this press conference yesterday, and this is all my American dollars are on this one are going on Fury this weekend. So that's where I'm at.
Well, there's a rematch clause on this fight for a trilogy.
It'd be great. It'd be great if there was. I enjoy the first one.
If Fury wins,
we'll see. I'll buy this on pay-per-view. I think I have to get it on DAZN. Is it DAZN this weekend? Is that what it is?
DAZN, yeah.
So
I think
I'll have to get that on DAZN. I'm going to watch that fight and I'm going to bet the shit out of it. So I'm amped about that. We finally have a really great heavyweight match that I'm looking forward to. Hopefully the winner fights Joshua and we can call it a day here and try to figure out who the best really is.
Well, but, I think Wilder has to win for that to happen because like I said, there's a rematch clause in this. So if Wilder goes 2-0 against Fury, then it'll be inconsequential, I suppose. But
yeah. Hey, look, if it's a great fight, I'm down for a trilogy. I would still,
look,
Triple G, Canelo, I'd still like to see a third fight out of those guys.
I would bet on Fury because I think Fury and Wilder are probably both good businessmen. And
are you taking Wilder?
No. I would say Fury will probably win because if I'm Wilder, I'm 34. I've been in 40-plus fights at this point, most of them.
But he's still undefeated.
He's won no contest, yeah, but 41 of his 42 decisions have been knockouts. If I'm him, I'm like, all right, I'm in that age where if I can get a string of 4 or 5 super high-paying fights, I can be done and walk away from this shit before my brain turns into fucking Jell-O.
Yeah.
He will make more money losing to Fury and then beating him the next time than he would if he came out and knocked him out in 10 seconds in this fight. Like, he will probably make, I don't know, $100 million if they go if they do 2 more fights, would be my guess.
Yeah.
And he's not an idiot. He's not one of those guys that spends all of his money like a retard all the time.
Yeah.
Like certain gentlemen.
Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah. So if I was a betting man, and I am, I would probably put all of my money on Tyson Fury to win this.
Yeah, I'm going to as soon as the show ends.
I just don't think it'll be a knockout. I think it'll be a fucking...
I don't either. I think it'll be a decision.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Although, is this a title fight?
It is.
So it's 15 rounds?
Yeah. 12, I think it is.
Title
now.
Fights are typally 15, I think. And a standard
Back
fight
in the
12.
day, they used to be.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Now they lowered it. Everything is fucking lower. It's either 12 or 10 now. But back in the day, it was 15. Let's get to your questions. Franco Melendez might be the year that Gonzaga makes a run. Man, it's funny. Everyone says that every year.
Everybody always says that.
And
shit.
we host a huge tournament pool. It's for free. You want a signed jersey. I can say who it is now. I talked to my peeps. We are offering a signed Dennis Rodman jersey.
Oh, boy. Is he going to...
For the winner of Drinkin Bros Sports March Madness brackets. It's free. So all you have to do is go to Facebook, man, and sign up for Drinkin Bros Sports on Facebook. Dennis Rodman, signed jersey this year. We had a Christian Laettner one last year. The guy who won last year had never even played a bracket. That's the beauty of this. You can just sign up and fucking win cool shit.
I think that could really come in handy if you end up going to North Korea or anything like that.
Yeah. So you get stuck in North Korea and you get a signed Dennis Rodman shirt.
Yeah, you could definitely
fucking dope as shit.
You could barter your way out of trouble with that.
Yeah, probably. You're good. So that's the prize this year. And every year somebody picks Gonzaga. And look, rightfully so. Gonzaga is always ranked in the top 10. Problem is they're good for 2 games and then they shit the bed because they don't play enough competition in their leagues. So it's like, you start to get against the Big Tens of the world and you're fucked in these type of tournaments. There's always a Michigan State or even Kentucky. It comes down to coaches. Coach K is going to be in there. Kansas is going to be in there. Duke. And I would say probably a Michigan State always does it with Izzo somehow, no matter what their record is. But I feel the same way about Gonzaga, unfortunately, and I'm sorry. Ruben Schneider, Tony Gwynn played baseball and basketball at San Diego State. He did, and he was awesome. And he was one of the greatest hitters of all time and a great dude. However, that was in the 70s. So
it was in the 80s and 90s.
R.I.P. Well, when he was in college, he was in the 70s. I think he was drafted by the Padres, and I want to say 80. I think he played in 80 or 81.
I think it was 83.
But either way, Tony Gwynn was great. That was a very, very long time ago. Cody Foister said LT played for TCU. Who am I thinking of then? God damn it. Was it Marshall Faulk? Who was the running back for thank you, Cody.
Yeah, I think it is Marshall Faulk, actually.
Yes, it is, right? It's one of those fuckers. They were both the greatest fucking fantasy football running backs of all time. So I'm gonna go with Marshall Faulk then. I think I was incorrect in that statement.
What year would that have been?
2000 maybe. 99-ish. Just look at Marshall Faulk College. That'll give you the answer.
I'm looking at all their. Yeah, it was Marshall Faulk in 1994.
Yes. So I was wrong. Both, by the way, because I'm a fantasy junkie, Marshall Faulk and LT, I always get confused. Both of them caught the ball, ran the ball great, and they both scored 1,000 points. And Jesus Christ, if you didn't get the first pick in your draft back then, you were screwed. But those guys were fucking legends. It was great. Ruben Schneider says, we hold you to a higher standard. You should, Ruben, and I appreciate that. I really do. Dan Aguilera. Like Christina Aguilera. Melvin Gordon said he thinks Rivers is going to the Colts. Whew, I have not heard that. I actually really like that take, though. Shit. The Colts are not that far away.
No, that wouldn't be a bad move for either team.
Man, I have not heard that. You know, fuck, man. We're in conversations right now to get the Colts GM on the show. So we'll ask him.
We should get Jim Irsay on the show and do cocaine with him.
Great. Put a fucking stripper down. Eat sushi off her, an Asian stripper, and then do some coke off her. Be great.
Franco Melendez says, Dan, shouldn't Antetokounmpo and Middleton playing more in the playoffs counteract the lack of scoring from his secondary unit? No. And here's why. Antetokounmpo averages about 27 points per game in the regular season, and he averages 25 points per game in the postseason.
Oh.
The end.
That
does happen, though. Your line of thinking is right. So he will play more, and his usage rate will typically go up in the playoffs, but his efficiency goes way down, him personally. Yeah. I don't know about Middleton. I can look, actually.
While you're looking up at that, Richard Denoff, one of our faves. What up, Richard? He says, what has Dan got in that pipe, dude?
Oh, it's weed.
It ain't tobacco. It ain't tobacco, kids.
It's called medicine, bitch.
Yeah.
Middleton does score a little bit more. In one of his playoff runs, he scored a little bit more than usual, but for the most part, he also underperforms by about 3 points per game. So the answer to your question, my man, is no, not from those two. But that doesn't necessarily mean anything. Steph Curry, for example, has historically scored less points in the playoffs than he does in regular season games, mostly because they need him to score less. Mm-hmm. Like playoff games are more heavily contested defensively, typically. So maybe you're onto something if he's holding close to his averages in a more competitive defensive environment. Maybe that means something more. I don't know. I would have to look at what his usage rate and effective shooting percentage and shit like that is, and we're not doing that right now.
No, definitely not. Chris Beerworth, Miami needs a new front office and an O-line. I agree.
Miami needs a new everything.
Everything.
They need to blow up the team, murder Dan Marino, everything.
The only thing that they're doing right there is the cheerleaders in Miami. I can promise you that. Sean Thomas, Miami won't trade up for Tua. They suddenly have a hard-on for Herbert. And it's funny, man. I also heard that today.
That's fine with me. I'd
rather have Herbert than Tua.
Yeah, I would rather have anybody in this fucking draft that's a top 25 or 30 draft pick than Tua.
Yeah. Ruben says
you can't fucking, after the last 3 years of Kyler Murray and Baker Mayfield, there's no way you should be able to keep if you come out and take Tua with a top 5 pick, I feel like you should immediately be fired from your job.
Yeah, crazy. Just absolutely crazy. Ruben Schneider says J.D. Martinez will be traded this year. Boston's going to clean house. He might, man.
Oh, his days are numbered there for
they've
sure.
They've been fucking cleaning house the whole goddamn
if they're
offseason.
They want to start over. There's no point in keeping him. I see him probably going. It depends on how the season progresses, but I could see him going to the Diamondbacks because they spent some money in the offseason to try to shore up their team a little bit. I could see some of these teams that have been competitive throughout the years, like Minnesota. There's no way because they don't have the money. There's only a couple of teams he could really go to. LA is one of them. Arizona is one of them. Maybe the Angels, if they wanted to fucking get rid of Justin Upton and bring in JD Martinez and let that Justin Upton contract expire, they would have to pay the difference in salary. Plus, they would have to pay all of Upton's salary. But that'd be a good pickup for them, and it would be a good place for JD Martinez to be. I just don't see how he can stay in Boston. It's a waste of money for them to keep him.
With JD Martinez, though, I think he's got to stay in the American League to DH. I don't know that he's going to be an everyday player.
Maybe I don't know if I agree with that. Just because his defensive.
How old is he now? He's got to be.
He's like 34, I think.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me look.
My guess was 34.
He's 32.
Huh?
He hits 300 and he hits 30 to 40 home runs a year. I don't think he could play defense badly enough to overcome that. To be honest, let's see. You can look actually. Let's see what his fucking wins above replacement is on the defensive side. That's why I like baseballreference.com. By the way, that's Bill James, for those of you who don't know.
Bill James, bitch.
Bill James is the guy that started the whole Moneyball era, like data-driven statistical analysis of baseball. It's where Billy Bean's whole program came from, is this guy named Bill James. If you're not familiar with him, you should go read his books. They're very, very brilliant. But he may have missed some things.
Dan says, I think the Astros should have had to miss at least the playoffs, period. The commissioner made it sound like he didn't want to fight with the players' union, but 90% of the players are pissed about this in the league. I wonder
if you could interpret the team being ineligible for the playoffs as a punitive action against the players. Like, could he still do that at this point after offering them personally immunity? Because that would be more about the franchise than the players themselves.
Man, I don't know. It's just a fucking mess, man. Franco Melendez, Ross, what do you get in that Dixie cup? You know what? I've got there's a sponsor that is possibly testing out on Drinkin Broettes right now. It is Screwball whiskey. It is a peanut butter whiskey. For those of you who have not had this, I was not familiar with this. It was in the office today. It really does taste like liquid peanut butter. And I think if you're a chick, it would be rad. I do not know what you guys will think about it, but it is currently a housewife craze. I've seen it posted on social media, a bunch from housewives, and it's pretty goddamn tasty if you like peanut butter. It is literally liquid peanut butter. So, congratulations, Screwball. I hope they sign on with Broettes because that'd be a pretty dope sponsor. Let's see. Do you think the Heat can make the deep playoff run? This is Thomas Lasky. Yes. I do, actually. The East itself, I think it's open. Like, I think besides the Bucks and the Celtics, I think the rest of it is open. And yeah, man, I could see the Heat going to the snaking their way to the conference finals, or the second round at least. Like, yeah, I think the Heat can. And look, Jimmy Butler seems to have found his home there, so good for him. We know why Jimmy Butler's at home in Miami, but that is for another show, and maybe once he's retired.
Yeah, they're fourth right now, so they would have to go. I mean, if the season ended today, they would be playing the 76ers, which is not a great matchup for anybody involved.
Are they 5?
Yeah, it's all the standings are super weird right now. Just if you go down the list. Bucks and Raptors at the top, not very weird. Celtics at 3, that's not very weird. The Heat at 4, honestly, that's fine too. But the fact that the 76ers are, 12 and a half games off the lead is less than what we expected from them. The Pacers, I think, are out kicking their coverage. They're 6th, and
I do too. Oladipo's got a lot of heart. Man.
He's only been back for like nine games, and he's not played all that. I mean, he's played well and limited, but he's not made that huge of an impact yet. So that's interesting that they're that far ahead. And then you have both Brooklyn and Orlando in the 7 and 8 spots who have a negative points for and allowed ratio on the season. So just inconsistency, right? They win big and then they lose big.
Yeah.
Or they win big and then they lose bigger, I suppose, is the way to put that. But
somebody wrote in and said, crazy how many, it was Franco Melendez, crazy how many franchises gave up on Jimmy Butt Stuff Butler. Is there something you know that we should be made aware of?
You're talking about Franco?
Yes, Franco Melendez. Are you saying that Jimmy Butler is possibly a homosexual man?
Yeah, he's gay.
I can't confirm or deny that.
I mean, I've not personally had sex with him, but
no.
From what I understand, he's a gay man, which is fine. That's sad. I was actually talking to someone the other day about Aaron Hernandez and how that situation, because she had just watched the documentary, that situation's super fucked up, but one of the more fucked up parts about it is that his main male role model was this macho dude that would have disowned him if he was gay, and then he got traumatic brain injury after that, and just like everything was fucking wild as shit. Yeah. I mean, it's like they should have swept it all under the rug and just made a TV show out of it. It would have gone for 5 seasons.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, just like a fictionalized version of his life, like his upbringing to like being a recruit. It would be like a very dark version of the show Ballers, basically.
Yeah, it'd be like a fucking dark after school special.
It would be like Ballers / Dexter.
By the way, I miss after school specials.
Would you watch a TV show like that where it's like a fucking D1 college athlete, but he's got a dark side and nobody knows about it?
Yeah.
And everybody is trying to help him hide it because they know what his value is.
Yeah. It'd be great.
I mean, it would be the 2008 Florida Gators, basically.
Yeah.
Just turn that into a television show, and you've got the Tim Tebow character.
Be great.
You got the super Jesus freak character, and then you have all these people that are enabling this literal murder.
Yeah.
I would watch that. So Hollywood, your move.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, the fucking Jimmy Butler thing, we heard from someone else, a reliable source, but who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I that's the sad part. I just wish people could be gay if they want to be gay, man. Life is too fucking short and painful as it is. You know, everybody you know is going to get sick and die, or you're going to die. One of those two things is going to happen, and then life is impermanent, and it's trying a lot of the time, and having to go through with an extra weight of trying to hide who you are as a human being is fucked up.
It's crazy.
And it's crazy. Sad I feel bad for that guy, if indeed he is a homo.
If he is, we don't know. We don't know.
I hope he is. I hope he's lighting it up down there.
It's crushing it.
I mean, it's Miami.
Miami, dude. It's the best time ever if you're a gay man. It's great.
Especially if you're into Cubans or whatever.
Cubanos. Sign up for Drinkin Bros Sports on Facebook. You can see all of our live bets there. I will be betting the shit out of this after the show ends.
By the way, I still think there's a chance that the Braves try to get Chris Bryant from the Cubs.
I'd love to see it. I would love to.
I just don't think it's going to happen until the deadline. Like, the Cubs are super butthurt about how his arbitration process went.
Oh yeah,
and Pete Rose had a good point on that too. Is like, Chris, you're not going to get what you think you're going to get there, buddy.
No.
And even if you do, it like ruins your fucking standing with the team for the rest of the
I'd like to see it. A change of scenery could be good for him. In Atlanta would be great for us. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people out there that would be great in Atlanta. Atlanta's a good place to play baseball, too. Like, that team is going to be competitive for the next 10 years because 2 of the best players in Major League Baseball signed to 10-year contracts, basically.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. If I was a young player, I would be trying to get on the Braves.
Fucking awesome. It'd be fucking awesome. Subscribe to our YouTube podcast page and rate us on iTunes, by the way. I know we never solicit ratings on iTunes, but the advertising agencies give a shit. So go to iTunes and give us 5s. You just write a nice little comment about Dan's beard or myself, whatever you feel like writing. For D'Anthony Holloway, I'm Ross Patterson. This is the Drinkin Bros Sports Companion Show. Good afternoon and good evening, everyone.